What if being good isn't good enough? What if your kindness makes you weak? What if mercy breeds rebellion? And what if your sense of morality leads not to peace, but to your downfall? In a world obsessed with virtue, Niccolo Machiavelli dared to ask, what if virtue isn't the answer? In The Prince, written over 500 years ago, Machiavelli dissected the illusions of noble rule. He argued that goodness, when unguarded, could be fatal, that a leader who clings too tightly to ideals risks losing everything. He was not celebrating evil, he was exposing reality, a reality where power is not sustained by purity, but by perception, fear, and the silent hand of control. This is not a guide to villainy, it's a lens into the uncomfortable truths of leadership, manipulation, and the fine line between strategy and savagery. Most people want to be loved, most rulers want to be admired, but admiration doesn't protect a throne. Machiavelli writes, "It is much safer to be feared than loved if one must choose, not because fear is noble, but because it is predictable. Love is fragile, it fades, it wavers with fortune, with gossip, with shifting loyalties. A people who love you today may turn on you tomorrow. But fear, when carefully controlled, endures. It creates distance, it demands respect, and above all, it discourages betrayal." Yet Machiavelli is precise. Fear must not become hatred. A feared ruler is secure, a hated one is doomed. Fear is a tool. When used without wisdom, it corrodes, but when used with restraint, it protects. This isn't about tyranny, it's about survival. The ruler who depends on love is a ruler who places his fate in the hands of the fickle. We're taught that good leaders must be good people, that character and virtue are the foundations of authority. Machiavelli disagreed. In his eyes, morality is not a universal code, it's a costume, a mask worn to calm the masses while power moves quietly behind the curtain. A man who wishes to act entirely up to his professions of virtue soon meets with what destroys him among so much that is evil. To Machiavelli, rigid morality is a luxury, a risk few in power can afford. A prince must be willing to bend, to deceive, to manipulate if the situation demands it. This doesn't mean abandoning ethics altogether. It means understanding that morality is not fixed, it is flexible, a weapon, and sometimes a trap. The world rewards outcomes, not intentions, and while virtue may inspire loyalty, it rarely survives conflict without compromise. So the wise leader appears moral, while quietly doing what must be done, not because he is heartless, but because he understands the cost of naivety. In Machiavelli's world, appearances often matter more than truth. Power isn't just held, it's projected. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. The people do not know the secret meetings, the hidden threats, the quiet deals in the shadows. They see the surface, strong, composed, in control, and that illusion is often enough. Machiavelli urges rulers to cultivate this illusion, to appear merciful, honest, devout, even when they are not. This isn't hypocrisy, it's strategy. In the theater of politics, image is armor, and those who master perception often rule longer than those who rely on truth alone. But there's danger too. A leader who relies only on illusion risks losing touch with reality. A false image, once shattered, rarely recovers. So the balance is delicate. Control the image, yes, but never believe in it too deeply yourself. When we think of cruelty, we think of monsters. Tyrants, brutality for its own sake. But Machiavelli saw something different. Injuries should be inflicted all at once, benefits given little by little. To him, cruelty, if used, must be precise, swift, and strategic, not random, not personal, but purposeful. A ruler who punishes quickly and decisively early in his reign can secure stability. He draws a line, he sends a message, and once order is restored, he softens, he gives. This pattern, sharp pain followed by small rewards, creates a memory in the people, fear, then relief. And relief, Machiavelli knew, breeds loyalty. But if cruelty is constant, if punishment becomes the norm, hatred takes root. Rebellion follows. Machiavelli's lesson wasn't to be cruel. It was to understand that power, when left unchecked by firmness, invites chaos, and chaos consumes the virtuous and wicked alike. Machiavelli believed that life is not governed by virtue or divine justice, but by fortuna, fortune, chance, chaos. He described fortune as a violent river, unpredictable, flooding without warning, destroying the cautious and the unprepared. "It is better to be impetuous than cautious," he wrote, "for fortune is a woman, and if you want to control her, you must treat her roughly." In a world ruled by uncertainty, Machiavelli admired those who seized power boldly, those who did not wait for permission or ideal conditions. The cautious ruler hopes fortune will be kind. The ruthless one shapes it, forces it, takes what others hesitate to claim. But ruthlessness, in his view, was not savagery. It was decisiveness, action without paralysis, a refusal to be ruled by fear or false hope. Because in a storm, it is not the good man who survives. It is the one who builds fast, acts hard, and never waits for calm skies. History is filled with noble rulers brought down by their own innocence, betrayed, overthrown, or simply swept away by men more cunning than kind. Machiavelli didn't celebrate cruelty. He mourned the fall of the idealist who believed the world would play fair. A man who remains honest in a world full of the dishonest will sooner fall than change it. In politics, in power, in survival, purity is dangerous, not because it is wrong, but because it assumes others share it. Machiavelli's genius wasn't in justifying darkness, it was in illuminating the hidden costs of light. Innocence without strategy is vulnerability. Goodness without defense is an invitation to exploitation. And those who lead with their hearts alone often lose their heads. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince to turn men into monsters. He wrote it to prepare them for a world where monsters already exist. A world where power is not given to the kind, but taken by the prepared. Where morality is not a shield, but sometimes a trap. Does that mean we must abandon goodness, number? But it means we must understand its limits. We must know when to wear the mask and when to face the mirror. Behind every noble ruler is a shadow, the part of him that knows when to strike, when to lie, when to step beyond virtue for the sake of survival. And perhaps that is Machiavelli's final warning, that to lead, to endure, to shape the world rather than be shaped by it, we must walk a narrow road. Not in darkness, not in light, but in shadow.